Hello everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. Today we're going to work on a fun block in Kimberbell's A Quilty Little Christmas wall hanging project. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make this cute block right here that is called Gingerbread 1. So go ahead and grab your plastic pouch system that you've labeled Gingerbread 1 and let's head over to the embroidery machine and let's get started stitching. Okay, we are at the machine. I have a full bobbin of white thread down below, and I also put white thread in the top of my machine. And I have my 5 by 7 inch hoop filled with a piece of the poly no-show mesh stabilizer. Okay, so now I want you to get your plastic pouch system out that is labeled Gingerbread 1. And there's only one piece of fabric in it, so I want you to pull that out. And this is a white piece of fabric with little white dots on it. I'm using the kit for this project, so this is the fabric they have designated for this block. That is why I put white thread in the top of my machine, because I'm going to stitch the first several stitches with the white thread, probably even up through the quilting. Because I think the quilting would look nice with the white thread on it, and then the gingerbread on top can pop. All right, so that's why I have white thread in the top of my machine. Then I also need you to get a piece of 5 by 5 inch batting from your pre-cut batting pile. All right, and then we're going to put that aside. And then I also need you to get the piece of gingerbread felt that is in your embellishment kit, because this is what we're going to use for the Gingerbread Man. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside. All right, so let's go to the screen cam and load the design. So I have a Baby Lock Destiny machine, which is identical to the Brother Dream machine. If you have something similar, you can follow along. I'm going to click on Embroidery. I'm going to go to my flash drive because I keep all my files on the flash drive. And I'm going to go to the subfolder that I made called A Quilty Little Christmas. I'm going to go to the quilting folder first because I'm going to be showing you how to do the block by block quilt method, where we do the quilting on the fabric first and then we stitch the main design on top of it. So I'm going to go to quilting. I am looking for Christmas 16. And I'm looking for the 4 by 4 inch design. Oh, this is going to be cute. It's got the Gingerbread Man and then the village on top. That's sweet. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to click Set. It's going to bring it automatically centered, so you don't have to do anything else to this. Now I'm going to add the main embroidery design on top of this. If your machine can't add, no problem. You're going to stitch this out first. Clear your machine memory, and then you're going to come back in and add and stitch out the main embroidery design. All right, so I'm going to add, go back to my flash drive, back to Quilty Little Christmas, and I'm going to go to the main quilt. And I am looking for the gingerbread cookie folder, which is folder number 4. And there they are. And I'm looking for the Gingerbread Man that has the holly on top of his head. So this is the one that we want to do today in this video. All right, it looks good. I don't have to do anything there. I click Set. It's automatically going to bring it in perfectly centered. You don't need to do anything else to it. And just click Embroidery. And we're ready to go. All right, so let's go back to the hoop cam. And let's start stitching. So the first thing we're going to do, since we got white thread up on top, is we're going to put the foot down and we're going to stitch the placement line for the batting. Here we go. Okay, now we're just going to take that piece of batting that we pre-cut, that's 5 inches by 5 inches, and we're going to put that down, making sure that you have all areas of that placement line covered. Okay, once you've got the batting down so it covers that placement line, let's put the foot down and let's tack down this piece of batting. Here we go. All right, that looks good. So now I want you to take the hoop off the machine, take this over to a table, and I want you to trim away all of the excess batting from around the outside edge of that stitch line, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so I've trimmed that all up. Now I'm going to put the foot down, and we're going to leave white thread up on top, and I'm going to stitch the placement line for the fabric. Here we go. Okay, so now I've got my fabric, and I want to put my fabric down and cover all sides of that placement line. And if you have directional fabric, if you're not using the kit, make sure you have your top of your fabric facing here and your bottom facing down here, because that's how the block is going to stitch out. So once I've placed the fabric down, I just want to feel for the batting. And basically make sure you have about the same amount of fabric on each side of the block. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that tells you you have plenty of cushion on each side for when we trim this up. So it's in the place where I want it. I'm going to put the foot down, and I'm going to tack down this fabric. Perfect. So now the next step is the quilting. I love this step. This is only a 2-minute in real life stitch out. And I'm going to go ahead and leave white thread up on top because, as I mentioned earlier, I think the white quilting will look nice on the background, and the gingerbread then will pop. It'll be the focal point, but then when you look real closely, you'll see the quilting. So let's go ahead and put the foot down. Make sure you have the thread color of your choice up on top to do your quilting. And let's stitch out the quilting. Isn't that cute? I have to show you this because this quilting is adorable. Can you see that? I love the village. I love houses and doll houses, so that is totally my thing. I think that is super cute. Look at that. Love it. I can't wait to do this project. This is so much fun. Okay, so now the next step is going to be the placement line for the gingerbread man. So what I did is I went to my thread stash, and I pulled up a thread that I think will look really nice and will accent that gingerbread felt. So this is the color thread that I'm going to put in the top of my machine. Okay, so pick the gingerbread copper thread that blends with your felt that you have, and put that color thread up on top. I chose my gingerbread copper thread to be a little bit darker because I want to give the gingerbread man an outline and not just blend in. So I did go on purpose a little bit darker than the felt. Okay, so with that color thread up on top, I'm going to put the foot down, and I'm going to stitch out the placement line for the gingerbread man for the felt. Here we go. Okay, so I got a little thread here I want to trim, get that off. All right, so now we're going to place the gingerbread felt. And if you remember in the prep video, I said that I do not pre-cut my embellishments because I want to try to maximize and get as many items out of that piece of embellishment as I can. And so pre-cutting, it's easy and convenient, but there's waste associated with that. Okay, so I am going to lay my felt down here, giving myself about 1/4 of an inch on the top over the head. And I'm going to just slide it over real gently like that. And then I'm going to check and see. I want it about 1/4 of an inch on all sides. I can bring this back a little bit so that I don't run off the edge. The quilt is going to be right there, so that'll be more like 1/8 of an inch. Let me move that over just a little bit and make sure I got the head covered. I want it to totally cover that placement line, but I don't want too much waste associated with it. So I can maybe get an extra 1 or 2 gingerbread men out of this. We'll see. So I'm going to put the foot down and I'm going to tack down this felt. Are we ready? Here we go. See, that's cool. That worked out perfectly. Came a little close, but I still had 1/8 of an inch on top. So it tacked down nicely. I have about 1/4 of an inch on this side from this foot. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take the hoop off the machine and go to a table. I want you to trim around this felt around the outside edge, but I don't want you to trim super close. This is what's going to be called raw edge applique. So I want it to be a distance, a small distance away, like 1/8 of an inch or so, all the way around. So I'm not right up against that stitch line, but I have a little bit of a distance so it looks nice all the way around. Okay, do that and I'll meet you right back here. All right, there we go. So what that looks like, which is like a 1/8 of an inch all the way around, is it makes it look like a nice warm gingerbread cookie ready to eat right out of the oven. Look at that. That's cute. So that's how I like mine trimmed. And then it's not too close to the stitches because this is felt. It's not just fabric, it's felt. So you don't want it getting near the stitches so that it might fuzz out and come out. All right. I know it's technical terms, fuzz out. But that's kind of what felt can do. It can kind of pull and then it would come out from under those stitches. So I like leaving that distance so that everything is good. Okay, so the next color thread that I want to put in my machine is going to be a light pink. And this is going to be to stitch out the little holly leaves that are on the head of the gingerbread man. So go ahead and pick the color thread of your choice. It doesn't have to be pink, but if you're following the kit, that's what Kimberbell has done, and I do like myself a good pink thread. So I'm going to put this up on top. Plus it coordinates very nicely with the fabric that's in the kit. All right, so I'm going to thread my needle. This is a 2-minute in real life stitch out. So once you've got your thread of choice up above, put the foot down and let's stitch out these leaves. That's pretty. And I was incorrect. I called these leaves. This is actually called the branch fills. The next step is going to be the holly leaves. So I've selected my green thread that I'm going to stitch out the holly leaves in. And I'm going to put that thread up on top. You do the same. Load your machine with the green thread that you want for your holly leaves. And then we'll stitch this out. This is only a 1-minute in real life stitch out. You got this. This is a nice block to start with in this project to get the hang of these techniques. Load my needle. Make sure I don't have a loop. If you ever have a loop that appears here after you thread your needle, get that loop out. A loop that's left in will wrap around your foot, will break your needle, and could cause damage to your foot and or to your machine. So always make sure you get any loops that form after you thread your needle out. All right, let's put a foot down and let's stitch out the holly leaves. Okay, so now we're going to stitch out the berries. So it's recommending a dark red, and I think that'll look really cool. So put a dark thread or whatever color you'd like your berries to be. Put that color thread up on top in your machine. And we're going to stitch out the berries. Oops, see, I have a loop. Get that loop out. All right, foot down, and it's a 1 minute stitch out in real life. Here we go. All right, so we've got that done. So now let's go ahead and switch out our thread. And we're going to put the cream in. This is the color that we're going to do the accent on the Gingerbread Man with. So pick a nice cream thread that you have. And let's go ahead and load that in the top of the machine. And this is only a 2 minute stitch out. Get that loop out. Okay, here we go. Isn't this adorable? Oh, that's so cute. Okay, I got a little thread there. I can trim that up. Look how cute this is. Look at that. That is so cool. You'll be able to see a better shot of it once I take it over to the table. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the hoop off the machine. I'm going to head over to the table. I'm going to show you how to finish up this adorable block. Let's go. All right, isn't this just super cute? Look at that. I really love the quilting. I think Kimberbell really rocked it this time with the quilting. I love those little houses. They're so cute. All right, so enough about gushing about the block. Let's finish this block up. All we need to do is trim it up. So if you look at this outer stitch line, this is the one that we use to tack down the fabric. We're going to use that as a measurement to cut this up. So if I look from this stitch line to this stitch line, it's 4.5 inches. And if I go from the top stitch line to the bottom, it's just shy of 4.5 inches. So it's perfect because this block is going to be trimmed up to be 4.5 inches square. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it on the side, because my ruler can kind of cut the whole stabilizer in one shot here, is I'm going to look for that stitch line. I put my ruler on it, and then I'm going to go just a hair past it. And can I see that stitch line? Yes, I can. I can see it just underneath that ruler, and I can make my cut. Okay. I always say, can I see that stitch line? Because that tells myself, yes, I can see it and I'm in the right spot to cut. What if I was here? Can I see that stitch line? No, I'm going to cut off the block because I need to be down here. So that's my mental note that says, make sure you can see that stitch line. All right. We got 4.5. I'm lining the block up with my mat, and I'm lining the ruler up with my mat, and I'm holding it down. You got a little bit of 3-dimension here, so make sure you hold your ruler flat down. I'm lined up. Can I see that stitch line? Yes, it's just underneath the ruler, and I can slowly make my cut. All right, so those two ends are done. Come over here. I can do the same thing, except this stitch line is not exactly straight. So let's try this side. This one's straighter. It's off just a little bit, but it's straight. So I'm going to line up my ruler as well then on the bottom here with the block. And then I'm going to move just past that stitch line. Can I see the stitch line? Yes, I can. Make that first cut. Okay, so then this side that wasn't exactly straight won't matter because I'm going to line up the block on my mat and go 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Line up the ruler on my mat. Then I can also line up the bottom of the ruler here. And there we go. And can I see the stitch line? Yes, I can. It's just underneath the ruler. All right. You did it. You just squared this adorable gingerbread man block to 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Isn't that adorable? Cool. Well, I'm so glad you finished this block. I hope you enjoyed making it as much as I did. And I hope to see you here again on Jolly Molly TV real soon for more fun and more blocks in Kimberbell's amazing, adorable project, A Quilty Little Christmas. And until I see you next time, take care and happy stitching. Bye-bye.